All right, so good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to all of you joining in from Sri Lanka and also from around the world. It's a special town hall in November for the Intersect CoinCeylon hub here in Sri Lanka, and we have a set of special guests who are joining us here today. We have Sheldon Hunt, who's the head of Cardano Ecosystem on EMURGO. Thank you so much for joining us, Sheldon. And we have Seira joining us from Japan, representing Socious. He's the founder CEO of Socious. Thank you so much for joining, Seira. I know you are joining in at midnight your time. Do apologize, and we will run through the first slides as much as fast as possible, so that give you the time to present to the local community as well. So thank you so much. We really appreciate that you being here. So it's a very momentous month for Cardano, I think we can say that. And a lot's been happening, and everybody seems to be in a very jolly mode. I wonder why, for obvious reasons, I guess. And everybody I've been talking today have been pretty happy with things. So, I mean, all I say is we are working on history to make history here on Cardano. So you're a part of it. So during this town hall, we'll also speak a little bit on things in local languages as well to get everybody included. So I'll just give a small rundown in Sinhala just to get started. Subodhayasanak සියලුම දෙනාට අද අපගේ CoinCeylon Intersect ශ්‍රී ලංකා නොවැම්බර් town hall එකට එකතු වෙන එක ගැන. ඒකේ අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා ඉන්නවා විශේෂ අමුත්තු කීප දෙනෙක් Sheldon Hunt එයා තමයි Cardano Ecosystem එකේ head EMURGO institution එකේ. එතකොට ඒ වගේම Seira ජපාන් ඉඳලා අපගේ අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා ඉන්නවා. මධ්‍යම රාත්‍රියේ උනත් අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වෙලා ඉන්නවා Socious කියන සමාගමේ. එයා තමා founder CEO. ඉතින් එයාත් එක්කම තව අපිත් එක්ක එකතු වෙන්නේ ඉන්නවා Lloyd Duhon. එයා තමයි Intersect එකේ subject matter expert කෙනෙක් විදිහට. ඉතින් අපි මේ ටික ඉස්සරහට කතා කරගෙන යමු. මේ මාසය ඇත්තටම Cardano වලට ඉතාමත්ම සතුටුදායක ආරංචි ගෙන එන මාසයක්. ඉතින් ඒකත් එක්ක Intersect එකටත් ඉතාමත්ම ගොඩාක් ලොකු දේවල් ගොඩක් වෙන මාසයක්. ඉතින් ඒකත් එක්ක අපි ඉස්සරහට කතා කරගෙන යමු. So with that, we will just get my screen shared. The agenda for today I'll be just running through some of the latest hub updates, what's been going on with the hub, and also our upcoming events for this month, basically the next month, towards the end of the month as well, and the constitutional convention that's happening, as well as Seira will be talking about Socious and building on Cardano and his experiences and things like that. And then Sheldon will be talking about latest developments, what's been happening in the Cardano ecosystem. And also a lot of you might have heard about the BTC US as well. So there's a lot of things that's been happening, and I'm sure Sheldon will be able to share some content on that. It's a brilliant thing that's happening. And Lloyd, if he's going to join us, he will be talking a little bit about the upcoming budget process of Intersect. So that will be spoken as well. And then Sanjay will give a small rundown on the monthly updates, what's been happening with Intersect, and we'll open up the floor for any questions that the community has. However, during any of these speaker sessions, please do let us know if there's any questions that you have. Put it on the chat, and after all the guest speakers speak, please do raise your hands, and we'll give you the floor if you would like to ask any questions as well. So yeah, so this month's been pretty interesting. So I was actually quite fortunate to attend the Cardano Constitutional Synthesis regional workshop that happened in Nairobi in Kenya. So that, as well as there was another Constitutional Synthesis regional workshop that happened in Costa Rica. And what we did there was basically we got together with every single delegate from all of the 63 delegates representing 50 countries. We got together to bring in the feedback from these workshops that were held all across the world to develop the first ever Cardano constitution. That will be a setting stone for a lot of the major blockchain networks as well. So this is a very historical moment. So I was fortunate enough to get there and represent Sri Lanka, and also bring in our community's updates into what basically the feedback that we got within the community here, which is a lot. And I'm sure everybody must have seen the videos and things that we did during the constitutional workshop that was held in Sri Lanka. So we managed to take it there We discussed your pointers. We debated with the rest of the delegates and also the officials who were there, and we put in all of the feedback, and that's what's come to the final draft that is out there right now. I'm sure if you have read it, great. If you have not, please do go and read it. And that is going to be something really, truly remarkable. Just to say a little bit about that in Sinhala as well. Cardano Constitutional Synthesis Workshop එකේ regional workshop එකක් තිබුණා නයිරෝබි වල. අපි ලංකාවේ කරපු Cardano workshop එකට සමගාමීව ඒකෙන් ලැබුණු feedback එක අරගෙන ගිහිල්ලා අපි මෙතනදී මේකේ අනික් රටවල් 50ක කට්ටිය ඔක්කොට මේක අපි ඉදිරිපත් කළා. ඉතින් එතනදී අපි කලේ ඇත්තටම මේ ලෝකෙ පුරා විහිදිලා ඉන්න රටවල් 50ක delegatesලා එතනට ඇවිල්ලා ඔය අපගේ community එකෙන් ආපු updates, ඕගොල්ලන්ගෙන් ආපු updates ඉස්සරහට අරන් යන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක ගැන තමයි අපි කතා කරේ. එතනදී constitution එකට මේක ඇතුළට දාන්නේ කොහොමද? ව්‍යවස්ථාවට ඇතුළත් විය යුත්තේ මොනවාද? ව්‍යවස්ථාවෙන් පිට තියෙන්න ඕනේ මොනවාද කියන එක අපි එතනදී ඩිබේට් කළා, කතා කරා. ඒකේ ප්‍රතිඵලයක් විදිහට තමයි අද වෙනකොට Cardano constitution එකේ final draft එක දැන් එළියට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙන එක. කියවුවා නම් හොඳයි. ඒක කියවලා නැත්නම් ඒක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම කියවන්න. මොකද ඒකෙන් ඔයගලන්ට දැනගන්න පුළුවන් මේක ලෝකේ පළවෙනි වතාවට සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ. ඉතින් මේක නයිරෝබි නුවරයි කෙන්යාවේ ඒ වගේම කොස්ටාරිකා රාජ්‍යයේත් මේ වගේම දෙකක් තිබුණා මේ delegatesලා ඇවිල්ලා. So with this, the other thing I would like to go into is what everybody's talking about these days. It's the Constitutional Convention. Just to give you a small rundown about the Constitutional Convention, that's going to be taking place from the 4th to 6th of December. There's a small change in the planning process for the Constitutional Convention. Initially, it was supposed to be held in Buenos Aires in Argentina. However, there was a bit of visa issues for some of the delegates that came up during the not enough time to plan everything. So there was some technical issues there. So due to that, the convention had to be split into 2 different locations. So now it will be held in Nairobi, Kenya and Buenos Aires simultaneously at the same time. So, I mean, it's keeping up with the ethos of Cardano of being decentralized. So even the Constitutional Convention will be held in 2 separate locations. So it's great that everybody is going to be coming together and everyone will be able to discuss their ideas and their vision for this. So just to say a little bit about that to the local community, මේ Cardano Constitutional Convention එක Buenos Aires Argentina වල තමයි තියන්න තිබුණේ. නමුත් දැනට ලෝකයේ තිබෙන මේ visa restrictions උත් එක්ක සමහර delegates ලට ඒකට යන්න අපහසුකම් තියෙන නිසා ඒක දැන් තැන් දෙකක පැවැත්වෙනවා. නයිරෝබි කෙන්යා සහ Buenos Aires කියන Argentina වල Buenos Aires වලයි නයිරෝබි කෙන්යා වලයි ස්ථාන දෙකේම පැවැත්වෙනවා දෙසැම්බර් 4 ඉඳලා 6 වෙනිදා වෙනකම්. ඉතින් එතනදී තමයි මේ constitution එක එහෙම නැත්නම් ව්‍යවස්ථාව on chain ගත කරන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒකට ඇත්තට මේක ලෝකේ පළවෙනි වතාවට සිද්ධ වෙන දෙයක්. ඉතින් ඒකට ඇත්තටම ඕගොල්ලන්ට ඒක නරඹන්න එන්න, ඒක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඒක online stream කරනවා. ඒක අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම බලන්න එන්න. attendees 450ක් එනවා, delegates 63ක්, රටවල් 50ක්. ඒ වගේ ලොකු අවස්ථාවක් මෙතන තියෙනවා. So the other thing is there's going to be 450 attendees with 63 elected delegates with 50 countries. And it's going to be from December 4th to 6th. And just to, because this is so important, I believe we'll speak a little bit about that in Tamil as well in Sri Lanka, because there's some community members who will be looking into this as well. And we got some members in our community at the same time who speaks Tamil as well. So I would let colleague from the Sri Lanka hub, Yadurshan, if you could say a few words on this.
Yeah, hello, I'm Yadurshan. I will be speaking in Tamil for the Tamil community. So can I speak in Tamil, right? Yeah. Yes. So இப்போ வந்து என்ன நடந்திருக்குண்டா, வணக்கம் எல்லாருக்கும். இது வந்து என்னண்டா, கார்டானோட வந்து அரசியலமைப்பு பட்டறை தொகுப்பு வந்து நைரோபியில வந்து ஏற்கனவே நடந்திருக்கு. இதுல இவ்வளவு காலம் நடந்த பட்டறைகள் வந்து எல்லாவற்றையுமே சேர்த்து கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு மாநாடாக வந்து கென்யால வந்து நடந்துச்சு. பிறகு வந்து என்ன பண்ணீங்கன்னா, இப்ப நடந்த எல்லாவற்றிற்கும் ஒரு 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 பயனுள்ள ஒரு விடை எப்ப கிடைக்கும் என்றால், எங்களுக்கு வந்து 4ஆம் தேதி மற்றும் 6ஆம் தேதி மார்கழி மாதம் நைரோபி கென்யா பிளஸ் பியூனஸ் ஏரிஸ்ல வந்து நடக்கும். அர்ஜென்டினால வந்து எங்களுக்கு நடக்க 7ஆம் போச்சு. எங்களுக்கு சில பல பிரச்சனைகள் எனக்கு வந்தது. மற்றும் நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நீங்கள் சேர்ந்த அவ்வளவு பட்டறைகளுக்குமான விளைவு வந்து இந்த 4ஆம் தேதி மற்றும் 6ஆம் தேதி வந்து நீங்கள் நல்லபடியாக பார்க்கலாம். ஸோ இவ்வளவு காலம் வந்து நடந்த பட்டறைகள் வந்து அனைவற்றிற்கும் சேர்ந்து இந்த மாநாடு வந்து நடந்தது. இந்த நாடாளுக்கான வந்து இணைப்பு வந்து தற்போது நீங்கள் பார்க்கிறீர்கள் என்றால் இறுதியில் போட்ட அந்த இணைப்பில் நீங்கள் பார்த்தீர்கள் என்றால் உங்கள் இணைப்பை நீங்கள் பார்க்கலாம். அதாவது 4ஆம் தேதி மற்றும் 6ஆம் தேதி மார்கழி மாதம் கென்யா மற்றும் நைரோபி கென்யா பிளஸ் போனஸ் ஏரிஸ்ல வந்து நடக்க இருக்கு. Thanks.
So thank you, Adarshan. So with that, we will move on to the upcoming events of the year with the hub. We have a couple of events that's going to be coming up in the latter part of this year. This is basically the end of the year member meetup, the networking soiree. We have that planned on the 14th of December. The venue and the time is to be decided. And I believe the entire hub growth that we have had so far, I would like to say a few words on that for everybody to actually get an idea as well. So currently we are sitting at around 400 members. So, I mean, you guys have really come together and we're really happy to see the kind of work that the community is currently doing. And it's constantly growing and we're really happy about that. So we want to get as many members to come and attend for this meetup event. And we are looking forward to that. If you are on this call, I'm assuming you are already an Intersect member. So if you're not, please do come and join us join us as a member and then join the event for the networking soiree as well. And then up next, we have a very interesting thing, which is the workshop series that we'll be launching with the University of Caledonia. We'll be launching a 4-hour workshop session, 4 sessions during this workshop. It will be called Mastering Blockchain Technology and Building on Cardano from Fundamentals to Real-World Applications. So it will be starting in January 2025 from Computing and Technology faculty premises at the University of Caledonia, which we already held one. And we will be doing that. So it will be done for the first time in Sri Lanka. So it's going to be very interesting. And we are looking forward to seeing how this actually plans out. So we are quite excited about this. And yeah, so I'll just say a few words about this in Sinhala as well. So the workshop series for University of Caledonia, University of Caledonia එකේ අපි workshop series එකක් කරන්න plan කරලා තියෙනවා 2025 ජනවාරි මාසයේ ඉඳලා පටන් අරගෙන. ඒක ඇත්තටම ලංකාවේ පළවෙනි වතාවට තමයි සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ. ඒකේ පැය 4ක workshop එකේ පැය 4ක් workshops 4ක් අපි කරන්න plan කරලා තියෙනවා. ඒකේ ඉදිරියට විස්තර දැනගන්න පුළුවන්. මේක තියෙන්නේ University of Caledonia එකේ Computing and Technology faculty එක ඇතුලේ. ඉතින් ඒකින්ද ඒක පළවෙනි පාරට තමයි සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේම අපි අවුරුදු අවසානයේ member meeting එකත් members networking soiree එකක් තියෙනවා දෙසැම්බර් 14. ඉතින් ඒකටත් ඔක්කොටම එන්න කියලා මේ වෙලාවේ අපි invite කරන්න කැමතියි. So with that, now we will move on to some of our video content that we have been putting through, which is the Intersect video content that we have been rolling out in the language of Sinhala as well as English. Now we have started moving into Tamil. So Yadarshan, community hub member Yadarshan, would be saying a few words on that and we'll play that video for you.
So hello everyone. So this is the video of Tamil series of Intersect. So this is just a start and we have so much more in the store and stay tuned for us. And back to Tamil. So in that video session, we have made what is Intersect in Tamil and those stuff. Like the basic idea to get to the Tamil community. So in Tamil, if I'm explaining, in the video, Intersect enna adra payanpaadu enna ipa Cardano kum Intersect kum irukra thodarbu enna Cardano oda future adhaavadhu Cardano oda edirkaalam eppadi irukka podhu endu kandupidikiradhukaga indha video vandu nang senjirukom. Idu maadhiri nang kanaka videos innum po seivom. இதை தொடர்ந்து நீங்க இப்ப இந்த வீடியோ வந்து பார்க்கலாம். Kavinder, can you play that video?
In the meantime, Lloyd, thank you so much for joining us. I just saw you. Thank you so much for joining and let me just get this started. Okay, hope you guys can see my screen.
Intersect என்பதன் பொருள் என்ன? Intersect என்பது கார்டானோ சுற்றுச்சூழலுக்கான உறுப்பினர் அடிப்படையிலான அமைப்பாகும். Intersect கார்டானோயின் தொடர் வளர்ச்சியையும் கார்டானோ எதிர்கால வளர்ச்சியையும் உறுதி செய்யும் பொறுப்பை ஏற்றுக்கொள்கிறது. ஒரு ஒருங்கிணைந்த நோக்குடன் உறுப்பினர்களை ஒன்றிணைத்து இன்டர்செக்ட் ஒரு மீள்தன்மையான, பாதுகாப்பான, தெளிவான மற்றும் புதுமையான கார்டானோ சுற்றுச்சூழலை உருவாக்குகிறது. அவ்வாறே இவ்வமைப்பு உறுப்பினர்களை கார்டானோவின் எதிர்காலத்திற்காக ஓட்டுநர் இருக்கையில் அமர்த்துகிறது.
Yeah, so that is one of the videos that we've been launching in the local language of Tamil as well. So with that, we will be launching a lot more bite-sized video content rolling up in the next couple of weeks. We are currently working on them. So the first video that we launched got close to about 10,000 views on there. And it's actually a great way that the community has actually given us feedback that the knowledge base that we have for Intersect, the fact that we are currently rolling these out in small snippets, bite-sized content for people to actually understand what Intersect does and what Cardano does and things like that, and what can you do with Cardano and all of that stuff. So we are working on that currently. So if you have not watched our videos, please do go and check them out. They're out there right now, and we will be publicizing it a little bit more often. So with that, without further ado, I will move on to Seira. So Seira is the founder and the CEO of Socious. And he's currently building on Cardano, and he's doing a lot of things in Japan as well. And I had the privilege of meeting him a couple of times during some of the events, and most recently at the Kenya's, Nairobi, Kenya, at the Synthesis workshop. So, Seira, the floor is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Kav. And great to see some of you. I saw you like 5 minutes ago, Malik, and Rishan, I think you were there as well. And yeah, Sanjaya also. So yeah, great to see you again. It was great to meet you in Dubai. Hi, Lloyd as well. Sheldon, good to see you. So my name is Seira. I'm the founder of Socious. Let me quickly share my screen. Great. So yeah, my name is Seira. I'm the founder of Socious. And today, I want to talk about building on Cardano, especially my experience, Socious, our experience building Socious on Cardano. So Socious is a decentralized telemarketplace on Cardano. So we're using a Teleprism. Now it's called Hyperledger Identis. It's a self-sovereign identity platform built on Cardano. And we're using this platform to bring trust back to job matching, especially with certificates, work certificates and educational certificates. And we're also using Cardano smart contracts for escrow protection. And so I will explain how we've built on Cardano. So first of all, why we chose Cardano? It's because in 2014, I'm sure many of you know that Charles had this viral TED Talk about the future will be decentralized. And in this video, he talked about using blockchain technology for social impact, especially banking the unbanked. And that vision resonated with me. So at the time, I was actually working for the UN and the Red Cross, and I was in the impact sector, and I was moving away from that nonprofit sector more into tech for impact, tech for good sector, and that really resonated with me. And also, when I met people in the Cardano community, we met a lot of like-minded people who are really passionate about using blockchain for social impact and making the world a better place. So that's why we chose Cardano. Especially, we want to build something for impact, and we want that solution to be present in 100 years' time, 200 years' time. And because of Cardano's robust technology, research-based technology, we believe that it's the right infrastructure to build on. So that's why we chose Cardano. And so the problem we're trying to solve is the trust issues in job matching. So if you know these high-profile individuals who fake their CVs and certificates, the consequences are severe. So some of them lost their jobs, others, they went to jail. And there are some statistics that 55% of CVs contain falsified information. So this is a big issue, and it happens all the time because paper and PDF credentials are super easy to forge. So that's why many companies use background check agencies, and it's expensive, it's time consuming, and it's a huge industry, $14 billion industry globally. So that's why we built Socious, to solve this issue through this talent marketplace built on trust. So we help issue certificates, especially educational certificates like diplomas and transcripts. So we have 5 universities that are using these our system to issue their diplomas and transcripts. And also we've partnered with other companies who are issuing work certificates. So these credentials are verifiable on-chain using decentralized identifiers, DIDs, and verifiable credentials, VCs. And so this solution makes background checks unnecessary and facilitates companies to hire talent from different countries. And so what are the benefits of verified experience on the blockchain? So employers no longer need to hire background check agencies, and they can hire qualified candidates with confidence. And also for former employers and educational institutions, they are relieved from responding to background check inquiries. So one of the universities we work with in Cameroon, they told us that they have a backlog of background check inquiries because there are many fake certificates, and companies and background check agencies, they send emails and calls to verify that the applicants are actually graduates from these universities. And finally, job seekers can provide secure proof of their experience to get jobs, especially coming from the global south, applying to jobs in the global north. It's very important to have these easily verifiable experience and certificates. And with this verifiable, trustworthy certificates and credentials, we match people with jobs. And especially we are targeting impactful jobs in the social impact jobs. And another problem we're trying to solve is this matching problem, especially working remotely. So remote workers and freelancer experience delayed payments. 74% of them face this problem. And on the other hand, companies that hire these freelancers from other countries, 38% of them are concerned about quality assurance of their work. So it's always a problem. And that's why they use escrow services, and they use these platforms like Upwork and Fiverr so that there's protection. And for us, we use escrow smart contracts to eliminate that third party. And the smart contract acts as escrow. So these contracts protect both freelancers. For them, it's guaranteed payment. So once they finish their work, then their payment is guaranteed. They will get paid. The funds will be released from the escrow smart contracts. And for the employers, it's for quality assurance. And so we've deployed 2 types of smart contracts. So one in Aiken for Cardano, the other in Solidity for EMURGO, which is Cardano's sidechain. It's an EVM compatible sidechain. And we have also dispute resolution system that is decentralized. So we have our own reputation score, impact score, and those who have at least 700 impact score will receive, will be able to contribute as jurors to this dispute. So 3 people randomly selected, and they help solve the dispute between organization talent. For example, the talent submitted their work, but the organization says, "Oh no, this is different from our requirement. So can you do it again?" And and then there's a dispute between these two parties, and it has to be solved. Normally, it's the platform like Fiverr and Upwork that solves that problem. But the problem is that they have incentive to favor whoever the people who pay the platform, right? So in this case, it's the organization that pays the platform. So there are many allegations that, you know, these massive platforms, you know, they usually favor organizations, the clients who pay the bills for the platforms, rather than the small guys like, you know, small freelancers and contributors who contribute to these projects. So in order to eliminate this bias, we select randomly these jurors, and they look at the issues at hand, and they make decisions based on you know, two out of three votes, and whatever the result is, either the talent or the organization will receive funds from the escrow smart contracts. So this is already deployed, and it's functional, and we are actually very popular among Cardano projects. Other projects building on Cardano use our platform. It's because it's the largest Cardano talent pool, especially Haskell, Aiken, and Cardano-specific languages. We have the largest database of talent and contributors. And it also, we allow payment in ADA. And especially for Catalyst-funded projects, we have this escrow protection based on milestones. So as many of you know, Catalyst, since Fund 10, I believe, it's based on milestones. So if you don't fulfill the milestones, you don't get funding. And many projects that are funded through Catalyst, they use Socious to manage their funds and hire talent using our platform, so that once they start the project, they hire talent through Socious, and then make sure that you assure the quality of their submission, and then they submit a milestone acceptance submission to the Catalyst team and the reviewers, and then they get funding. So it's a very well-suited platform for Catalyst projects, and it's also decentralized dispute resolution. Our team, Socious, is not involved in dispute resolution. We don't favor any party. We don't make decisions. So there are many clients that use our platform, and EMURGO is one of them. And we've seen incredible traction until now. 30,000 organizations using our platform. Now it's 9,000 users, and collectively they've contributed to more than 50,000 hours to different social causes like climate, education, and health. Yeah, so our team, we have now 11 members on our team that are core members, and several contributors who are on a part-time basis. And myself, I've mostly worked in the humanitarian sector, impact sector. And then since 6 years ago, I've been an entrepreneur. So I started my first company and exited my first company 3 years ago and started Socious. And we have engineers, we have designers coming from different industries. And so our head of product, actually, she came from Sunday Labs. I don't know if you know Sunday Swap, Obsidian. She taught Haskell at 17 years old, and she's an amazing engineer. And we have a very experienced designer, Min, who has more than 70 years of experience for designing products for multinational companies. Yeah, and yeah, so our mission is to give everyone the chance to make a difference. And if you want to build on Cardano, I really recommend the community and also the robust technology that you're building on. And as you've seen recently in the hype and momentum that we have, I think it is the right network to choose. And if you have any questions, please let me know and maybe I can help. Thank you.
Thank you, Seira. That's really wonderful that you guys are doing this. And I personally did have a longer chat with Seira and got a lot more details onto it. So if there are any questions within the community, please do go ahead and put them on the chat, and we'll be more than happy to answer it now and also towards the end as well. I think there's one question in there right now. That's like, is Socious only on Cardano or other chains also? Shirana is asking that.
Yeah, good question. Thank you, Shirana. So we have Cardano and Milkomeda. So we also EVM compatible. Milkomeda is built by DC Spark, and it's EVM compatible sidechain to Cardano. So on Milkomeda, you are using Milk ADA as it's kind of like wrapped ADA as gas fee.
Right. Thank you so much. Seira, I'm sure people do have questions, so hopefully might be around towards the end. But now let me get our next speaker up on. It's Sheldon Hunt, head of Cardano Ecosystem and EMURGO, and I would call him a man of many hats. And he was an ex-Intersect member too, and he's still there. So he's doing a lot of things in the ecosystem. So if you already know him, I'm sure if you're in Cardano, you would know him. But for the local community, I am sure he would love to say a few words as well on the latest developments in the ecosystem and some of the partnerships that's happening as well. So Sheldon, the floor is yours.
Well, wonderful. Well, first off, thank you guys so very much for having me here. It's great to see so many familiar faces and familiar names for everybody who doesn't have their camera on. It's great to be here tonight or today. But yeah, so as you are all very well aware at this point, we have had a hell of a month here in Cardano land. But we're not done yet. It's the accumulation of a lot of weeks and months of work, but it still goes on from here. But just kind of a quick recap for those of you who might have been living under a rock for the last couple of weeks and maybe missed out on some of this stuff. I would dare say like a lot of the momentum had been building up in anticipation of the Cardano Summit, which was held in Dubai now a few weeks back. There were some announcements that had been coming out of EMURGO these last several months related to different partnerships and different like cross-chain interaction. But the big one that came out of the summit was, of course, the BOSS partnership. And for those who don't know, BOSS, or it stands for Bitcoin OS. And that was a very fortuitous coming together of two OG blockchains in a very interesting project. So the origin story there is that it goes back to the Korea Blockchain Week held in Seoul now, I guess, about 3 months ago, where, yeah, I was actually very privileged to attend a Bitcoin event held by the founder of CoreDAO, a gentleman named Richard, and got to be the sole representative of Cardano there. But the nice thing is for these Bitcoin meetups, you almost have nobody else from any other chains that go. So it was a big room of Bitcoin maxis, and I got to really champion the cause of Cardano and really nail home all of the advantages of using the UTXO model and doing it with the E in front of it, the extended version. And it sparked a lot of very fortuitous conversations that are still ongoing, but the big one was Bitcoin OS. And so originally they were planning on focusing on Ethereum because that is where theoretically all of the developers are. Everybody's looking to do layer 2s, layer 3s, this and that. But there's also a realization now, and it's become very clear, the EVM setup, the account-based model is not really fit for purpose for the future. And not to kind of throw shade or kind of toss a few blockchains into the mud, but the reality is that there is still a fairly high rate of failure for the blockchain. You still have high gas fees. There's a number of issues related to wallet draining and security. And a lot of these concerns are just unacceptable for major institutions, right? You can't have 99% certainty that something will go through, because it's still a 1%. And if you're doing multi-billion-dollar transactions, that 1% adds up after a while, and that is just unacceptable. It's painful. So the UTXO model here is one that was talked about even by Satoshi back in the day, that this was ideally the chain you'd want to build upon. And it was one that Vitalik even and the original team had looked at building upon, but they thought it would be too difficult to do at the time. We've now kind of come full circle to the point where it's no longer that difficult to do. If you're still trying to build smart contracts on mainnet Bitcoin, of course, it is hard. We've got some issues just with the limits related to block sizes. And so there's a lot of Bitcoin layer 2s, and there were a lot of that were attempted. Something like 190 different Bitcoin layer 2s were attempted just in the last 6 months. And the vast majority have now since died. There have problems with centralization, problem with users and uptake. And then turns out most of them were just essentially like EVMs. They were just trying to wrap their Bitcoin and toss it over onto Ethereum in some kind of layer 2. And it wasn't really the authentic experience anybody wanted. And so there's still some around that are still doing some really good work. Like shout out to BitLayer, to CoreDAO, and to others. But we've got now with Boss, and I won't bore you with all the details, but with ZK proof technology here, we can at least for the first time allow Bitcoin to have eyes and ears on what is happening in other chains, and the first one up will be Cardano. So it's not that any of these major smart contracts are going to be built on Bitcoin, because we still have the limitations there, but instead you can allow your Bitcoin to trustlessly lock itself up into this system and then come alive again on the Cardano side. And we will do this in such a seamless way so as to have, essentially for the users, no real belief, no real resistance in kind of moving Bitcoin over to Cardano and having it engage in Cardano DeFi. And so I think we're going to see over the next couple of months, we've already started to see it, of course, but we'll see more of it, where many Cardano wallets will also become BTC wallets, with the intention that we will get to a phase, a stage, I should say, in ideally 3 to 6 months, perhaps like 4 to 6 months, where people can, through their Cardano wallet, pull over their BTC and then have it go and play around. There's still going to be a number of different things we need to kind of grow through, of course, to get there. But it is a very exciting turn of events. It isn't going to be the end for Boss, though, because interoperability is the name of the game. And so the Bitcoin OS team will be powering ahead and doing other partnerships and other linkages to other blockchains, but we in Cardano are going to be doing the same as well. So if anybody feels like a spurned lover that you're not getting all of the attention of BTC, please don't be jealous, because we are also going to be dancing with a lot of other blockchains in the coming months and years ahead. So there's a lot to be excited. In particular, I'm looking forward to doing more as it relates once again to all of those UTXO chains that have been around for years and years, but haven't really rolled out their own smart contract capabilities, particularly Litecoin, Dogecoin, and some of the other ones. There's tons of liquidity there that is kind of just sitting around. These are hard assets that people trust. And if we can bring them over to another hard asset that people trust, Cardano, but now allow them to do some fabulous things, I think we've got a very winning proposition. And then, of course, I should also take a moment to bring attention to the partnership that we have with Axelar, which was another big announcement that happened at the Cardano Summit. And so once again, this is another interoperability play, where working with the team over at Axelar, we are hopefully, this is going to be also probably the end of Q1, beginning of Q2, have interoperable bridging connections between Cardano and 70 other blockchains, which is very cool. Of course, there's already bridges out there, but this is one of those canonical bridges that is very secure, very seamless, and it moves fast. And it gets us to some other blockchains that haven't been covered before. And some of the bigger ones there are, say, like Immutable, right? Where we can now begin to have gaming assets go back and forth. So it's part of like a bigger future gaming play that I envision, but maybe that's a talk for another day. But one of the whole kind of like underlying components of the whole Axelar integration is something I should mention, which is around the IBC. So it's this inter-blockchain communication channel. It's something that the team at the Cardano Foundation have been building and working on for many, many months at this point. So I want to kind of give them some shout out and some acknowledgement that their work is really paying off. It's not an easy thing, but it's right now just in the security phase where they are trying to break it and doing security audits. So it's quite exciting. And so hopefully early next year, we get that in place. And we can expect something similar to happen with Boss as well, where there will be also like a test phase. But yeah, these are some of the interoperability plays coming down the pipeline that I'm very excited about. And then obviously, if I'm kind of continuing to wear my Cardano ecosystem hat, should also make a mention to everything happening in the United States as well. We've seen a lot of really exciting things come out of primarily the US election. You might have your personal issues with Trump as a person, or maybe even ideologically, you don't align with a lot of what he says and does. However, you got to give him some credit that he has pumped our bags. He's done a lot for the crypto industry and will continue to do more for the crypto industry. I think we've all seen some of the nominations that have come out over the last few weeks related to very pro-crypto people coming into some very high positions, be it the head of the treasury and other positions. So we also have Gary Gensler on the way out. So all of this is kind of adding up to a very, very exciting thing. I had mentioned it in a tweet yesterday and wanted to perhaps go through it again because it is worth saying again that we do stand in a very interesting position here now. And it's one that still hasn't, I think, been fully digested. And it's kind of like, it makes some people who are very decentralized a little bit uncomfortable because it does ultimately speak to government adoption. And not everybody wants government adoption in our industry, and for good reason. But there's a but here. I think there is kind of a coming around, an acknowledgement that there is some really good things here, and you can't just boost your way through with CBDCs and surveillance tokens. It's just not going to work. So instead of trying to fight this and kind of crush it, the best you can now do is start to accumulate it. And so if the United States does go ahead and does set up a BTC reserve, a national reserve, they're also going to be most likely accumulating other altcoins, and you can bet your bottom dollar that there's going to be ADA included in that as well. We're off to a whole new era. And so we saw some good things coming out of China related to this as well, saying that, yes, legally, digital assets are your property. They are something that can't be taken away from you. It's all related to some bankruptcy cases. There's always kind of the positive in some of the negative here, but it is a very good sign that actually China is looking to be a little bit more positive and proactive with crypto regulation, and we can expect more. I think there will be other countries that are going to look to follow suit in both the United States, China, and elsewhere, and it changes the game. El Salvador is an example of a country that's pulled it off. Many thought it wouldn't work, but it has, and so there are some exciting days ahead as it relates to kind of mass governmental adoption, and it will flow downstream from there. We'll see other companies and other like hedge funds, other just old money coming around. And so do expect your parents, your grandparents, cousins, aunts, they're all going to start asking you again to get you involved in this Bitcoin thing. So count on that. Be prepared to get some material ready to share with people because we've got a very exciting 2025 ahead of us. And so, yeah, with that, I'll kind of turn the tables or the mic back over, but I want to say again, thank you all for having me here. You guys are, I would dare say, one of the best organized Intersect groupings on the planet, and it doesn't happen by accident. So kudos to all of you and all that you do.
Thank you, Sheldon. Thank you for the lovely comment as well. And we'd love to have you here in Sri Lanka as well. Hopefully we'll have a global Cardano event next year in Sri Lanka. Fingers crossed for that. So, and you're absolutely right. And with a lot of developments in the political sector, even in the US, which will trickle down to the rest of the world. And it is going towards, like as you mentioned, towards China and everywhere else, but also in the Southeast Asian region, in Sri Lanka, to India, to the region as a whole, I think will benefit from this acceptance of the industry as a whole, blockchain technology as an industry and the cryptocurrency, even with regulations, there will be acceptance. So you're absolutely right that this 2025 year is going to be momentous. And with that, we are talking about the financial inclusion of people. So we are talking about finances. So who's a better person to talk about the finances? Who is here right now is Lloyd Duhon. So for all of you who might not know Lloyd Duhon, he has done a lot of work. I think I just noticed on the screen, let me just see. Yeah, I think I just noticed Lawrence is also joining us. I think it might be Lawrence because there is a person called Lawrence on the call. So I'm assuming it's Lawrence as well, who's also joining in from the budget committee as well. So Lloyd is a subject matter expert at Intersect and been working quite hard on the budget and the process with Lawrence as well. So Lloyd, thank you so much for coming in. I know it's the weekend and it's a Saturday, and with short notice, thank you so much for joining us. The floor is yours.
Hey, Kevin, thank you so much. And it's really good to see you again. We had a great conversation with you in Dubai, and I really enjoyed that. And I'm happy to be here today to meet more of your community and kind of give an update from the budget committee. So we have obviously been very hard at work trying to educate the community on what it is that the budget committee does, why they do it, why they exist. All of that. Obviously, Cardano is unlocking its treasury with the now we're known as the Plomin hard fork that's coming soon. And so when the Plomin hard fork occurs, we will have unlocked the treasury, which means that the Cardano community has both the right and the responsibility of determining how it's going to spend the money that the use of the blockchain creates, our treasury, in ways that are meaningful for continuing the growth and development of the ecosystem. So this is it's a very neat and very exciting time to be a part of something in Cardano. And so we're having these Ask Me Anything sessions. They're scheduled on a regular basis. We'll make sure that we post the link here in the chat. But it's lu.ma/Cardano budget process. Those are open to the public. We try to have them at different times, different days. So we are trying to encourage as much of the community as possible to join us in those sessions, listen, learn, ask your own questions so that you can engage in the process fully. The other thing that we do is we do have the budget process in our knowledge base, both the full written version and a new dashboard that has links to all of the proposals up till this point. And that's available. It's at bit.ly/intersect CBC. That's the capital I and the capital CBC, just like our socials. So you can find Intersect CBC on all of the social platforms, YouTube, and X, etc. So all of that is available. We really do. We're not only welcome, but we are asking for your feedback. We want you to be a part of the process. We want you to engage in it and help design and develop what the future of Cardano's treasury management and the budget process, the annual budget process, will look like.
Thank you, Lloyd. Thanks for that. And I think we will share the links here as well. I know that you guys have been doing a lot of work on this, and there's been a lot of discussions going on in the community as well. I think that's the best thing, because you're getting a lot of feedback from the community as well. So that is what's going into it, because there was a lot of misconceptions as well. So the only way you could solve it is through communication, and that has been happening quite rapidly and at a very open space. So anybody can come and ask those questions in these open question sessions. So even in the Sri Lankan community and everybody else in this town hall, if you guys have any questions relating to the budgeting process, anything related to that, any other concerns on that, please do drop it here on the chat as well. And we will be taking up questions at the end of this session too. So if you have any questions, please do put that across. And Lloyd, I have attended a few of the AIM and question and answer sessions as well. So which is really good. And you guys have been talking a lot. And also, I think the other thing we must mention is there's a lot of discussion that's happening in the Intersect Discord. So please do join there as well. And you can actually reach out to the other officials there too.
Absolutely. Yeah, that channel is wide open, as is the Telegram channels. We keep an open, area with, and we try to answer within 12 hours every response. So, do expect rapid responses to your query, because that's our mission, is to make sure that if you have a question or a statement regarding the budget, that it's addressed and you're sent in the right direction every time. That's
right. So, with that, I think there's another question for Sheldon on here. We'll take it at the end. If there's any questions on the budgeting process, if you do not want to speak up, please do put it in the chat, and we will have, like I said, we will take up the questions towards the end. So we're trying to fit it into a respectable timed town hall, because it's Saturday. I know all of you guys are here, and in Sri Lanka it's like 9:30 in the night. So thank you so much for staying with us, all of you. So with that, I will move on to the next item on our agenda right now. So let me just share my screen. So Intersect newsletter update. So for that, we will have Sanjay to go through the Intersect newsletter updates for this month. What's been happening at Intersect?
All right, so since we are a little pressed for time and we have a Q&A session as well, I think Kavind has already mentioned a few of these updates as we were going through our town hall. So I'll just quickly skim through the updates that we've had for the past month. So starting off with our news update 37, which is launched on the 25th of October. We have the annual members meeting, which took place in Texas and which was attended by Jack Briggs from Intersect as well. And following another update, which was a key discussion, was the tenants discussion, which was taken up by Charles as well. And the discussion outlined 11 guideline principles for how blockchain systems should operate and basically engage with users. So that was one key update that we had for that update as well. And moving forward for the chair hard fork progress, the hard fork working groups continue to meet weekly and update the community as well on that. Moving forward on that, in terms of membership and community and constitutional workshops, so far 64 total workshops have been completed. And there have been 120 delegates so far for that, with about 1,300 participants across 6 continents. Moving forward to that, from an update on our community hubs, Latin and North American community hubs, and WADA hosted X Spaces during this update, as well as Japan, Africa, and our own hub hosting spaces on the 25th and 24th and 26th of October. And update 38, which was released on November 1st. We have a recent update on our elections. I've already spoken about this before, but as a new update, we had Adam Roche and Kavinder stepping down from the elected committees and giving way for Phil Lewis, as well as Takeshi Oishi, committee seats on their respective committees. And at the same time, the onboarding sessions for new committee members also took place during that time. In terms of updates, again, key important updates were the annual members meeting, which was held in Mexico. If you guys are following the newsletters, you all can read an in-depth about that, as well as you would also have the links to these specific articles as well. And a key important other thing to take out of that was the events which were held in different countries, focusing on the Cardano Summit. And 2 key events that I want to take a closer look at is the one that was held in Hyderabad and London. Our very own Intersect community manager, Abs, was part of the Hyderabad event, as well as Gemma and Ryan, who was part of the London one. And so Abs basically highlighted the importance of on-chain governance to the Web3 community during the Hyderabad event. And as well as Gemma and Ryan spoke about the 2024 highlights for Intersect, as well as the goals moving forward for 2025. Moving on to update 39, which is released on the 8th of November. In terms of the budget committee, the Cardano ecosystem, all this comes together and is now moving forward towards the final sessions of that. And this includes core infrastructure enhancements, research development, and so forth, as well as grants and fund commitments. Another key important topic is the delegate representative. The DRM working groups are working on the Cardano budget process, along with Lloyd. And as Kavind mentioned, he is the subject matter expert in this regard. So he is meeting with the key report figures to move this forward. And one more important update that I have is the automated community hub introductory emails. Now, what this means is new members, including associates, individual and enterprise members, once they do register as an Intersect member, they will be receiving an email with the latest information. If you select a country and if there's an active hub representing that country, all the information with regards to the hub as well as the hub managers, including social media handles, will be shared via email for new members moving forward. In terms of community hub developments during that time, Japan held the next phase on the 8th of November. LATAM had 2 events. The Spanish Town Hall was held on the 5th, Portuguese Town Hall on the 6th of November. Africa had their Town Hall on the 7th. The European Hub, led by Clay Nation, held their Town Hall on the 6th, and North America had their Town Hall on the 6th as well. Going to update 40 on November 8th, tracking the constitutional journey for the Cardano Constitutional Convention. This is a little bit of a more in-depth discussion. You guys wouldn't be able to see this on the screen, but as Kyle mentioned, 465 workshops have been conducted so far with about 1,400 participants. And moving on from that, the budget committee also has certain updates, including an AMA that they discuss going forward, and the Delta's governance update, which is available for you guys to read through on update 40 and on November 8th. And community hubs again, led by Clay Nation, the European Hub held their Web Summit 2024 in Lisbon, Portugal. That was held from the 11th to the 14th. Japan had their Discord voice chat on 15th of November, and WADA's Town Hall was held on the 14th of October. And finally, our latest update, which was released yesterday, update 41 on November 22nd. The Chang hard fork. Lloyd mentioned this a little while ago as well, but I'd like to start this off by sharing a little bit of sad news. So the Chang hard fork working group has proposed naming the next Cardano hard fork as the Plomin hard fork, and rightly so in memory of Cardano community's contributor Matthew Plomin. Unfortunately, we have not had the pleasure of meeting Matthew personally, but we have heard some really good things about him. So in honor of him, is the reason why it is now going to be called the Plomin hard fork. So from all of us at CoinCeylon, we would also like to extend our deepest condolences to Matthew's family and friends, and we wish you well. And moving forward, again, tracking the constitutional journey so far. All right, so following the conclusion, the latest delegate synthesis workshop is now come to where the community draft is now available for you guys to have a look at. And during that time as well, each committee elected their chairs as well for the relevant committees, including the budget. Cardano Civics Committee is still in deliberation. Membership Committee, Open Source and Product Committee, as well as Technical Steering Committee has already appointed their chairs and co-chairs. And finally, one more key thing for you guys to keep a look at is the Intersect November Town Hall update, which is going to be happening on the 28th at 1600 UTC on Zoom. So do tune into that. It will be quite interesting. And it's going to be more focused on Cardano governance and the expectations as we approach the Constitutional Convention, which is happening next month. And that is all from my end for the newsletter updates. Kyle, over to you.
Thank you, Sancha. I know there's a lot of updates that's been going on this month within Intersect, and I'm sure a lot of you have been keeping in track, and if you haven't, please do go and read up on the newsletters as well. You can actually get an update on there. With that, I think there's a lot of conversation going on the chat already, so I will move on to the questions and feedback from the community. So if you have any questions, please do raise your hand and we will get you up on stage, and you can talk. At the same time, I will just run down on some of the questions on the chat for everybody to go through. In the meantime, if anybody has any questions, please do raise their hand and I will get you guys up on stage. And Abs, sorry, just couldn't give you a shout out. Abs is here on the call as well, although we can't see him. So hi, nice to have you on board, Abs.
Hi, Kavi. Hey guys, thank you for having me. And this was really informative and really looking forward to where it is heading, seeing the big pump. And everyone's really happy for it to reach to $1 and above. So I think good days are ahead, as Mr. Hunt would say. But yeah.
Thanks, Abs. Thank you so
No
much
worries.
for joining.
Yeah.
So the first question we have is, let's see, what's there? Socious is there. Oh, Lawrence is asking next country to adopt, maybe Sri Lanka. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe good things should not be revealed too soon. So let's just speculate. Let's speculate. So next one, we have a question from Kevin. Kevin says, when the budget is passed, who is in charge of holding the ADA and what happens to that ADA if anything happens to that person? I don't know if you guys answered that. If anybody... Yeah, like, go ahead.
Sure. So as of now, as of just a couple of days ago, the idea is that the ADA that is requested from a treasury withdrawal will go to the Cardano Development Holdings Company, and that is where the ADA will sit until the vendors who are approved through a tendering process are selected, and then they would provide their milestones. And then when they provide their milestones, they would get paid from that money. So that's the idea, is that it's held in the Cardano Development Holdings Company. Now, the important to know, that company uses a custodial ADA, Cardano ADA wallet, or multiple wallets actually, that have very specific rules to them. So no one person can ever sign to allow that money to leave that wallet. So this is actually the exact same system that Project Catalyst has implemented, that ensures the protection of the ADA that comes from the treasury, so that it is in one place and it's traceable and trackable. It stays on chain and it's traceable and trackable. So the decisions will be made as to when to move money from that to fiat currencies also, such as US dollar, yen, euro, or pounds. And that's depending on the companies that are building the different tools. Sorry, it's weekend times, guys. So you hear my granddaughter in the background. That's is what it is. But that's where we'll have the monies that need to come out to pay those bills in fiat currency will also come out through that same process, and it'll be approved. And then the most important part of this is that there's an audit function that occurs, and every quarter the DREPs will be welcomed to a meeting where we go over and share the entire work from that quarter. So everything is transparent, tracked, on chain as far as it can be, and then whenever it can no longer be on chain, it's still tracked through an audit process.
Thank you so much, Lloyd. I think, Kevin, that answers your question. And we have Batman, whoever you are. That says, hi, firstly, great session and quite insightful. Here's my question. What happens if the Cardano budget proposed by Intersect doesn't pass? Does it mean that we will have to try again? How would everything operate? Just a bit concerned. I think Lawrence has given an answer on that. It's been like, yes, we will keep close with the DREPs, I think, and the community to find an agreeable budget for the betterment of the community. So I think that's a very good question as well. So straight out from Gotham, thank you so much for sending us that question. We have Charita. Hey, I want to know if Intersect is going to exchange Cardano every month. Can this have an impact on the Cardano price every month? What happens if someone times this to trade? Okay. Lloyd, would you like to say something on that? I think we put a lengthy answer. Yeah.
We did put a little information there, but also the most important thing to note about that is that that's one of the things that would be held secret. There are certain things that have to be held secret for the protection of the community until after they have occurred. So when the decision is made as to trade money for fiat, that will happen. It will happen very quietly, and no one will know until after the fact, so that you can avoid exactly that problem. You cannot have the ability for someone to front run when we're going to be making changes in currency. So that would be made as the process itself is transparent. So in other words, you would know that it's a working group that would be making those decisions, and the working group would be staffed with treasury experts who make the appropriate decision at the appropriate time. And then you will see the results of that, what their decision was and how it was produced. And that's going to be published in the quarterly reports. So it'll be right there in the quarterly reports after it happened.
Thank you, Lloyd. It's there. And I think we have someone raising their hand. Addition. Yes, you can go now. Just giving you permission. Addition, I think you are still muted. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, so how would the budget committee handle a situation if the market crashes by a lot?
Thank you, Addition. Lloyd, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. Again, this is why we have treasury experts who are a part of this group. They have a deeper understanding of when it's appropriate to make sales of the ADA to cover the fiat. And so whenever there's an opportunity that we can make the sales necessary to be ahead of that. By the way, this is what happened in 2024. The ADA price was good at a period of time, and we had enough fiat that enabled us to continue operations into the new year. That is because of that proper treasury management. So that same process is what will occur, and obviously the goal would be to get enough to handle everything and stay ahead, so that we are ready if and when ADA's price does choose to go back down again. That's obviously something we just have to manage as a part of this process. And it obviously, well, what the worst case scenario is that if we have run out of funds because of an unexpected market crash, then the community can choose to fund more money by going back to another treasury withdrawal. That there's steps that we'd have to do to get there. That's obviously the last choice in the worst case scenario, but it's always a possibility should the community choose to do so.
Yeah, that's great. And we have Huss is on. I'm just unmuting you. Huss up. Yeah, next is you.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
So there's a question about the BTC OS. Yeah, so is Cardano the only blockchain that's capable of doing this with BTC at the moment? And also like being able to build smart contracts with fees being paid through ADA?
Oh, it's brilliant. Sheldon?
Yes, yes. Well, yes, a good question. And it's one that is going to be coming up quite a bit going forward. But yeah, so the plan for Bitcoin OS and like the team there, Yago and others, is to ultimately have these bridges from Bitcoin go to many of the other blockchain ecosystems. So it's not going to be an exclusive thing, and I wouldn't expect them to, because ideally we want to have a very interoperable future where all the blockchains are interconnected with each other. And so what we have, though, is the advantage, the first mover advantage. We have right now in our relationship with the boss team and Bitcoin OS, Cardano is going to be leading the way. There are, of course, advantages with having Bitcoin OS bridge over to Cardano, because actually with EVM, this is a little bit into the technical stuff, but with EVM, it's actually hard to do ZK because of the changing state within which it operates. Doing ZK proofs is quite troublesome, actually, whereas with UTXO and particularly EUTXO, you can do ZK proofs actually quite easily. They're fairly straightforward. And so there are going to be natural components of both Bitcoin and Cardano that are they're kind of like a match made in heaven. There'll be a lot of things that are seamless there. And we're already seeing a lot of Cardano projects build on Bitcoin, and now Bitcoin developers come to build on Cardano. But ultimately, they will do EVM, and they'll do a number of other chains as well. But we've got to get going there quickly. So the team over at the Cardano Foundation, as well as a number of different community members, are all working on the Cardano side of the bridge, because it is going to be a trustless bridge. There is no third party that holds the BTC. It's all done on-chain algorithmically, which is pretty cool. But what we need to have to kind of link up Bitcoin and Cardano are having light clients. And so light clients essentially allow respective blockchains and wallets to read in a very fast format what is happening on chain as kind of like proof of history. So you don't want to have double spends. And so having that light client done for Cardano to plug over into Bitcoin is the big thing we're working on right now. And so it will take some time. So we want to aim for like a Q1 release, but developers being developers and the need to kind of make sure this doesn't mess up, it kind of takes priority. So I imagine that we're likely going to have it likely into Q2, but fingers crossed, I could be wrong. But yeah, so that's part of, I guess, like the first answer to your question there. So yeah, so I hope that helps. And what was the second part? There was a second part to your question as well, and I'm sorry if I missed that.
Has, would you like repeating that? I can't remember the last part. I think it was Has, are you there?
Yep. I just had to raise my hand again. Sorry. No, so I just want to find out. Yeah, that was a great answer. Thanks, Sheldon. Just want to find out as well, like the fees being paid with
Yes.
ADA. Yeah.
The fees. Yes, sorry. So that's what you asked. So sorry, I forgot about that. So yes, it's a very good follow-up question. And so some of you guys might have heard about something called like Babel fees. So as of today, everything is paid for in ADA, and it works. And I think for most projects, that's how they're going to want to keep it. However, we've got new tech and new updates that are going to be rolled out also in the new year. And some of the guys are already playing around with it, which is pretty cool. So the guys over at Fluid Tokens are doing some fun stuff with this. And so Babel fees would essentially allow for, in theory, Bitcoin users to bridge over trustlessly their BTC over to Cardano, have their BTC be involved in lending and borrowing and other Cardano DeFi, and they can be paying for any of those fees with BTC. And it will all be basically priced in Cardano, but with BTC fees there, which is done in such a way as to kind of like streamline the process for your average holders and users. And so that's the whole idea behind Babel fees. It can also be done for other tokens as well. But as of today, if it's going to go live today, it would be done in ADA. But we want to give, once again, choice to people to allow to pay for what they want to be engaging in their currencies of choice.
Thank you, Sheldon. Has, please do put any other questions if you have on the chat as well. I'm more than be happy to put them across as well. We have Tarnesh. I'm just unmuting you right now. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to know that you guys manually verify the identity for KYC or use a verification system.
Okay, I think this is probably they're asking Seira. I'm assuming this is about Socious.
Yeah. Yes, we do KYC, not for all users, but as long as they we need to make sure that there's no bot, or make sure that there's no like double counting. Then we do KYC and KYB for both businesses and users. And for that, we use a Teleprism-based system. So it's you receive your KYC verifiable credential on your identity wallet. And for example, you want to prove that you're a human being, and we offer referral bonuses to people who refer their friends and colleagues to our platform. And in order to make sure that they're not referring themselves, we ask them to do KYC, but we don't get their information, and they can just selectively disclose that they've done KYC, and we know that that's a human being. It's not a bot. It's not a double of. It's a multiple account created by the same person, and we can provide referral bonuses. Does that answer your question?
Tarnesh, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much,
question.
Seira. I
Great
think
question.
since we are running way over our time, I will take one more question. I think there's Malika Malshan waiting on, so I'm just unmuting you, Malika.
Yeah, hi. I just like to know if I'm trying to build something with Cardano. So will the local Intersect able to give us some free materials on learning how to do things, or how will this work? I would like to know.
Thank you, Malshan. That's actually a very good question. So that's something that we are currently working on as well. So as you know, I think during the presentation, if you were there too, so we have currently partnered up with the University of California, which we are going to be launching a set of workshops and training sessions to actually introduce building on Cardano. So also going to 2025, we are working on releasing some of the educational material through Intersect as well, which we will definitely let you guys know about it. And also we are working on localizing some of the content onto it so that it won't just be provided in English, but also in Sinhala and Tamil as well, so that we can include everybody. So currently we are working on that. So we will do workshops and training sessions through the hub as well as meetups and things like that. But at the same time, through Intersect, we are hoping to provide educational material to everybody who would like to learn more on building on Cardano and getting involved with the governance sector and things like that. So definitely do stay tuned with us, and we will definitely be doing that. So that's a very good question, and that's at our #1 priority for 2025. Education is right at the top. So it's something that we're definitely working on. Yep. So I think there's a few more questions on the chat. So if you guys do have more questions, please do send it to us as well. I know Seira, it's like around probably 1:30 in the morning for you. Thank you so much for staying with us. And Lloyd, thank you so much for joining. And of course, Sheldon, thank you so much for joining with us as well. If you guys would like to say a few words before we conclude the meeting today, I know a lot of people might still have questions and things like that. You can just let them know how to get in touch with you. That'll be lovely.
Yes, sorry, I was actually just typing an answer there to somebody in the chat. But yes, so for anybody who isn't already following me on Twitter, that would probably be the best way to kind of stay up to date and kind of stay connected with me. And so my Twitter is @_Mr. Hunt_. Or you can just look me up, full name Sheldon Hunt, there on Twitter. And yeah, come find me, shoot me a message. And yeah, it'd be great to hear from you if you have got any follow-up questions coming off of today's chat.
And I'm at Radio Astro on all social platforms. And again, if you have budget-specific questions, you can always interact with Intersect CBC. It's capital I for Intersect, and then capital C, capital B, capital C. Intersect CBC, also on all the social platforms. Happy to answer any questions you have there. Thank you guys so much for having me today. I really appreciate bringing me to your community so that I could share what we're doing on our side and to hear what you guys are doing over here. So thank you again so much.
Yeah, I was just typing my Twitter handle, but it's Seira_Yun at, or I guess like Seira_Yun is my handle. So you can find me, you can ask me any questions. If you want to learn how to build on Cardano, we can also help you with some material as well. So we went through that many years ago, and things are evolving. At the time, there was no ACAN, nothing, but now it's becoming much, much easier to build on Cardano. So if you are thinking of building dApps on Cardano, please contact me. You can also reach me at YUN @socious.io. It's my email address. I'll type it in there as well. Thank you for having me. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Seira. And once again, thank you so much for everybody who attended. And I know most of you are already community members of this Intersect CoinCeylon Sri Lanka Hub. If you aren't, and if you are attending this town hall for the first time, you know where to find us. Just go on X and type @IntersectShrill, and then you'll find us, or just find us on CoinCeylon, and you can just send us a message. And then please do join Intersect and then fill up your form. It's completely free for you to join, and you can learn more. You can actually get involved in the governance sector and also do a lot more things within the communities and the working groups. Join the Discord. There's a lot of things happening. 2025 is going to be the year of Cardano. And this is not an understatement. This is the year that we make history with the first blockchain-based governance mechanism out there. So you will start hearing everybody talking about Cardano in 2025. So be one of the first to be there. And thank you so much for coming once again. Sheldon, Lloyd, Seira, Abs, Lawrence, everybody else whose names I notice, and I will not name drop because I'm not sure if it's actually you or not, but you know who you are. Thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you again in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.